stuff like that. And 2 weeks ago, our winner was MVS, and here we are. We're going to go and check her town. I believe MVS is a girl, but it's always hard to tell with the consonants. Yes. So here we are. Here we are, our lucky winner from a couple of weeks ago. We're going to have a little nose around and see what we can see. Ooh, we have a nice river going down the edge. I mean, I say nice river. It's luminous green, but I do like water around the edge of a town. I've kind of used that idea myself. It kind of helps to kind of show why the town's kind of stopped, and it kind of helps to give a kind of natural divider and border. So I do like a bit of water. And we've got our pair of skyscrapers together. I remember when we did this. Do you remember was it the New Year stream? No, it must have been the Christmas one, or no, Claus Coast stream, I think it was. We put something similar like this together, and it's obviously it's got variations because we haven't got the lake out the front, but it looks really nice, and the steps leading up to the entranceway of each building there are really nicely done, and topically there's a little hint of a wood in there as well. Going past our town, I think we've got a bit of a kind of a hint of an airport here, which is, well, I say a hint of an airport. No, it is an airport. We've got the ice rink. Oh, but a nice, clever using of trees there. So it's showing us that it's that it's Springfield, but doesn't show us the doesn't show us the ice rink bit, which is quite a clever use of that. And actually, the placing of the building and the plane's quite clever as well, because it makes it look like the plane is next to the building rather than a part of that design. So that's cleverly put together. And here's our kind of little runaway. Not sure about the use of benches in the middle, but I take the point what we're trying to get here. Oh, and a drive-in cinema, of course, which I think we may have shown last week, and I think my voice has just gone all squeaky. And there's our little Irish pub. Martin would be proud to see our heritage displayed in such a way, with some lovely little tables and a little leprechaun at the back there, and his little statue. That's quite lovely, and a little shamrock. Oh, beautiful. And we got this town is clearly bang up to date, MVS. Well done, because we've got the singing sirloin. I don't know about you, but I always find when you get the new building, it's like, yes, I've got the new building. I can now put it to one edge of my town and leave it there for at least 6 months. But it looks like MVS is really kind of has worked hard to go, right, I've got a new building. Let's decorate it. Let's do it. So it goes kind of nicely in. A nice kind of little commercial area, and I really like the way here that you've put things into groups. It's not just one building then another building. We've got kind of little groupettes of like buildings. So, and again here we've got the hospital, the mental hospital, and the retirement castle grouped together as kind of like support town, and a nice use of kind of flowers and car park. That's nice, actually, putting the flowers and the car parks together like that. It looks again like the cars can kind of drive around. You, my friend, have spent a long time on this. Oh, and that's cool. That's cool. A maze with a golf, with a crazy golf course in the middle. That's lovely. I'm so gonna rip that off. But really, really nice. And like Styles pointing out there, a nice touch with the music notes outside in the front of the singing sirloin. I believe that is 3 quavers linked together. Although technically you should have had the quaver rest at the start. Just saying. And then we've got a forest, but we won't spend too much time on the forest because we're talking about forests later. But that is very, very, very nicely done. And we're coming over here into a more of industrial area, nuclear power, well away from everything. And actually, putting the nuclear power station there actually does make the river actually look. Does actually make the river look quite good, because I think next to the power station it can be green. Out goes the nuclear waste, a little bit of sprinkle of plutonium, maybe a little dash of uranium, and ta-da! Green water. And Mr. Burns' manor next to the nuclear power station kind of makes sense. Some nice kind of wooded trees, and then all little kind of mansions and bits and bobs around. I'm really impressed with this MVS. You've got a really nice decorative style. And this kind of stuff is lovely. This kind of division between the roads, it just pulling the buildings apart from one another, so you don't just get kind of building. Actually taking the time to just kind of have this little kind of car parking area, especially with the benches there. It actually reminds me of Mel Designer before Mel pulled apart their town. They had something not identical to this, but a similar idea of kind of spacing with benches, and so I really, really like that. Very, very nice. And coming onto the Squidport, we have things on the Squidport. I think we still have some decorating to do on here, but it's tough because of all getting those getting the broadwalk pieces, the wooden pieces. It's hard to kind of have the kind of room for everything. It'll be nice once you've got enough money. It'll be nice for you to get rid of this kind of house farming area as well, because house farming is one of those things. It's quite ugly, but of course, when you need the money, you need to have it there, because there's just no otherwise. You just wait forever to kind of get coinage. So I completely understand why it's there. But overall, I think this is a really beautiful town, MVS, and I think it has been an absolute pleasure to show this off. So well done for winning the raffle, and congratulations, and well done, and thank you for sharing this kind of awesome design with us. Guys, if we could have a little kind of chat or round of applause for MVS, and maybe some thank yous or some congratulations, and which I can see that you're doing already, which is great. But if we could express our appreciation, I think that would be great, because this is very good. Very good. This is in the upper echelon of cities, I think. I'm not actually. I mean, obviously, I quite like sometimes to be able to kind of say, "Well, you should probably fix this," but I'm struggling. Let me just pick some random thing and criticise it. There you go. It's too much pink there. Too much pink. Fail. There you go. Done. I think I'd probably change the Squidport benches in the airport. It didn't work for me. I don't know about maybe the rest of the people in the town could in the chat could in the town. Oh God, in the chat could express it. But the benches didn't work for me because they just look like benches. You could if you want to have it more of as a division, like maybe one runway for taking off and one runway for taking and coming in. I'd probably do it with like a continuous line of something rather than a kind of spaced out one, because it's not quite sure whether you're going for like the road markings or whether you're actually going for a division. Right then. Right, it's 9:20, so I think it's time for us to, as we've just had last week's winner, I think it's going to be time for us to pick next week's shown off town, because we hopefully will be able to do a gift card giveaway later if we hit 150. So let's choose next week's winner. So if you would like to be featured on next week's show, then you need to buy yourself a raffle ticket using some Adigold. So if you want to check how much Adigold you've got, then you need to type !Adigold, like a whole bunch of people have been doing in the chat at the moment. And you can buy as many tickets as you want for this particular raffle, up to the total amount of Adigold you have. Now remember, of course, if we hit 150, we may have a donut giveaway later. At the moment we're 120, so you can take a kind of risk there either way on that one. And if you win, then you need to be able to add me on Origin, and I will feature your town on next week's show. Not this week's show, next week's show, all right? So you need to check your Adigold and decide if you want to enter. Because obviously if you do enter, there will be a lot of people seeing your town. You might kind of think, oh, is it quite done and stuff? Or you might want to wait until maybe you kind of feel that your town is in a state that's kind of ready to go. And the way you enter is that you type. I haven't opened the raffle yet, so don't do it yet. You're going to type !Raffle ticket space and then the number of tickets that you want. So, for example, !Raffle ticket space 10 would buy you 10 tickets. But one more catch. You've got to be following the channel, okay? If you look below the stream, I think it's below the stream, depending on where you are, there'll be a little follow button, okay? Because I'm not doing this completely out of the goodness of my heart, just mainly out of the goodness of my heart. But you've got to be following the channel. If you're not following the channel, the bot won't pick you. It'll pick the bloke on your right, or the girl on your left, or the spider up there, quite frankly. So I shall get on, and I shall immediately open the raffle. And you can buy yourself some tickets. Buy yourself as many as you want, up to the amount of Adigold that you have. Don't type it more than once, because if you type it more than once, then you will have bought. You will have bought it more than once. So if you buy raffle ticket 10 twice, you've actually just bought 20. The bot's not going to reply, because if it replied to all of you, then it would flood itself off. Alright guys, so enter it if you want, check your Adigold, enter it if you want, make sure you're following the channel. I'm going to play an advert and have a nice swig of this, and I will see you guys in 60. Hello, ladies and gentlemen and animals. Speaking of which, I have no cat. Where are my cats? Oh, we've been sorting some stuff because we're hopefully moving house soon, and so Mrs. Pose has been sorting some stuff, and the cats have decided they would rather sit on a large pile of trash than the very nice filing cabinet. So they're avoiding international fame today, quite frankly. Guys, there's handfuls and handfuls of people up here for you to come and sit in front of. No, they're not. Because they're a cat and they can't understand what I'm saying. Although sometimes we often do speak to cats as if they can understand what we're saying. Same with dogs. We have these big conversations and then we start... If you've done that thing where you start filling in the other side of the conversation, so like I could be talking to the cat here and then I could kind of saying, well, but I can see that you're comfy over there, as if they're kind of responding. But of course they're not. I'm just kind of, developing my own form of kind of animal-based schizophrenia, which is probably worrying. Probably. Okay, so we're going to talk woods today. We are going to talk woods, and I can see some of you are still entering the raffle. So I'm going to hold off on closing that for another minute or so. We're going to talk woods. Now, one of the things that we sometimes moan about with Tapped Out, other than just the incessant tapping of doom, is the lack of decorations, or the lack of variety in decorations. We've got a couple of bins, but most things we only have like one of or two of, and your town can look a bit repetitive sometimes. But a place where they really have given us more than enough is trees, and of course that means that when it comes to a kind of a wood or a forest or things like that, we have got the real ability to put together something with a kind of a lot of variety. Just look at this little area here in my town. This isn't supposed to be a wood, but you can see there at least 3 different type of tree, like all similar but all slightly different. In fact, there might be 4 different types there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 4. There's at least 4 similar but different trees, and that's wonderful for kind of creating a wood. And that's only one category of tree as well, because as well as the, I don't know how best to describe them, but the kind of the oak-like trees, you've also got all the different kind of fruit trees. There's the orange ones, there's an apple one, there's the lemon ones, which I know is a bit rarer. There's the Valentine's Day ones, which of course you could use to make a kind of small orchard of some kind, because I think an orchard would still count in the whole wood thing. And then on top of all of that, there's all the pine style trees as well. And if you're new to the game, don't worry, you will be unlocking these pretty soon. They're not that high up in terms of level. But if you come down here to my casino, which we made in a Tapped Out stream probably a few months ago now, and yes, that means you're getting old, and yes, that means your life is slowly coming to an end. We've got, I think there's at least 3 or 4 different types of kind of pine tree there. So basically, in short, what I'm saying is we might not have all the decorations to kind of make every single thing in the game, and often we are kind of bending the truth a little bit. Like with the airport, we're kind of like making things fit, or the train line. I mean, it's wonderfully creative, but we kind of have to bend things a little bit to make them thick. We have to bend things to make them thick. You just push it in half, and look, it is now thick. But with the wood and with the forest, we don't have to. It's all there. We just need to kind of decide how we're going to arrange it, what we're going to put in there, what kind of wood we want. So, I think there's a few other different types of tree as well, actually. Oh, we got a new follower. Thank you very much, Jack here. I mean, technically Jack isn't here. Jack's there, but then that's a different user. He comes to the Tuesday night stream. Right, anyway, but yeah, we don't have to bend this because we actually can put together a good wood, and that's what we're going to be doing. So over the next half an hour, we are going to go and visit a bunch of awesome woods and forests, and we're going to go and be inspired, and we're going to be inspired by their ideas, and then we're going to go off and we're going to improve our own designs afterwards. And if anyone shows me after tonight's stream an awesome wood that has been inspired by tonight, just like Mockabee did with the drive-through cinema, then hey, maybe you guys could get featured next week as well. And I just managed to scare Trent Blue. Sorry. Right, lots of people seem to be talking about how much they love their They're forests indeed. I love my forest. A forest is actually one of the few things I kind of don't have in my city at the moment. Although I have to admit, I've personally been a bit lazy with city design recently. There's been so many new games out, and my forest is basically that, which I think probably doesn't go under the heading forest. It probably more goes under the heading spinny. So we'll have to call it Addy's Spinny or something like that. Anyway, I do believe that we were having a raffle, so we now need to close that raffle. It is now closed. However, the bot did not announce it, but trust me, I have closed it. And we need to start the old tombola. Obviously, if you have bought a ticket, your name will be kind of scrolling past on the screen. The more tickets that you have bought, the more regularly you will see your name pop up on the screen, because obviously the more tickets you have bought, the more chance of being a win. But who knows? Someone that bought 300 tickets could win, or someone that bought just one ticket could win, because it's all random in the end. I have no control over this. It's simply just a case that the bot will pluck one out. The bot will look at the total number of tickets, which is 1,358, and it will just choose a number randomly between 1 and 1,358, and that person will be featured next week. So good luck to everyone that has entered this, and whoever is drawn will be our special guest star on next week's show. So with no more to-do and stalling, next week on this show, which I've forgotten the name of, Simpsons Tapped Out live stream, we will be showing... Boom!
Oh yeah!
Wolfman 1980, who is one of the guys behind one of the Facebook pages on Simpsons Tapped Out, which we showed a few weeks ago. He's been nice enough to throw me. I think it's Tapped Out Friends, I think is the name of it. Sorry, as I have completely forgotten the name of everything that I'm showing. So congratulations, Wolfman. So I'm sure we'll be having a look at his city. I'm hoping there'll be full moons and some kind of hairy creatures kind of running around. And I think Wolfman bought a fair bunch of tickets, so the more you watch during the week, the more tickets you can have to try and do kind of well in these giveaways. I do play Tapped Out on Saturdays, we have Doctor Who Legacy on Thursdays, we have Games with the Boys on Wednesdays, and then all sorts of other bits and bobs just at random times, depending on what I fancied, which tends to be fairly kind of random. So, congratulations, Wolfman. If you message me your... origin if I don't have it already, and we'll chat during the week. Congratulations to him. I can see people are already congratulating him, so fantastic, quite frankly, it's fantastic. Right, now what was lovely about today's little selection of cities was that I was really pleased to see that there was a bunch of people I haven't featured before with forests and woods that I was like, oh, I want to show that off. And I'm not saying anything against the people that I show all the time, because the people I show all the time, I show them because they're awesome and they deserve to be shown. But it's nice to sometimes to have a little bit of a change as well. So we're going to show off probably about 5 designs, maybe 6, over the next kind of 25 minutes. Again, if we hit 150 people, we will be doing the giveaway. We're on, according to my numbers, we're on 130 right now. So we've got to go up 20. If we don't worry, the gift cards will still be here next week. I think they expire in the future, so there's no particular rush. Let's go over and have a look at brand new town for me here. This is Bipolar Bear, which is a wonderful pun / wordplay / word amalgamation that is simultaneously disturbing and creative, and it makes you kind of think and makes you kind of go, a bipolar bear. It's kind of a bear that one day would kind of be like, hey, Addy, how you doing? And then the next day it would be like, So, obviously it would be fun. So this is Bipolar Bear's town, and we haven't been here before, because I have never shown Bipolar Bear's town off. But Bipolar Bear was showing off some awesome designs over on tappedout.co.uk earlier, and I thought, hey, I like his wood. That sounds dodgy. I don't even know if you're a boy or a girl. Maybe I should use the word forest. I wouldn't use the forest, because then I won't laugh randomly as well. Okay, so we're down here. Obviously, trees are all over the city as they kind of should be, but we've got kind of 2 or 3 kind of main patches of kind of trees here, which is cool. So let's go and let's have a little investigate, and hopefully this will kind of inspire you to do your own designs. Now, this is Springfield Falls, because the thing about wood is it's not just trees. If it's just trees, to be blunt, it's going to get dull after a while. So you need to kind of stick buildings and decorations kind of in them, and you need to kind of arrange the kind of woods around them to kind of keep the interest in there. And I saw a lot of people had included Springfield Falls. Now, a very popular way of doing Springfield Falls is to get a river, like we've got here, or a lake, and having it kind of flow into the back of it. And it looks like the river is coming along and you get a little waterfall, and it's just like having Niagara Falls in your own back garden. Now, sadly, the river at the moment is bright green, and it completely spoils the optical illusion, because it looks like the falls is perhaps the greatest water detergent known to man, and it really gets out the green. But this design looks lovely, and it's something that a lot of people use. This river going into the waterfall, and it makes a brilliant part of the wood, because obviously woods often do have rivers and stuff kind of running through them, don't they? And it gives that kind of impression of back to nature, which works nicely. The other thing we've got here, if we go in for a closer look, is we've actually got a few plants here. Because remember, when you walk through a wood and you're kind of strolling around, you look left and you see a tree, and you look right and you see another tree, but then you look down and you see kind of plants and flowers and moss and stuff. So to have little things like the snapdragons and the snake rock here and other little things kind of scattered around helps to give it that kind of realistic feel. Now, yes, I know that when we look at this, I'm not going to go, my God, it's photorealistic for a second. Oh my, is it? I thought it was a real forest, but no, it's just my tapped out town. Then I remembered the water was green. I'm not saying that, but it does kind of give it that kind of feeling of it makes you feel that it's not just a bunch of trees stuck down there. It makes it look like you've got an actual kind of wood in there, so to speak. And I'm just watching Magical 12325 there, getting upset about the green ruining his illusion and doing his head in as he exclaims so loudly. Now, this is another popular building to put into your town, into your forest, which is Fort Sensible. Because let's be blunt, it's made out of wood, so why don't we put the wood in the wood? And we've got the totem pole there as well. It looks great. It doesn't even require kind of much design to work. You just got to surround it by trees, and it's just like ta-da, and it works really, really nicely. And even Flanders, it seems to be quite excited to be there and having a little jog outside. The other one that works really nicely that I assume we'll see later, maybe in this design or maybe someone else's, is Camp Krusty. Looks fantastic in a wood, so that was really quite dramatic there, but I don't mind it. Let's do that again, shall we? Maybe all together across the world, across the universe. There we go, quite fantastic. And then we've got kind of Cletus in here, but let's look at the arrangement of the trees as well, because what you need to try and do to get it depends what look you're kind of going for. If you kind of put them all in a straight line, then it'll look like something's been kind of farmed. So if you put your fruit trees in a line, good idea, because it looks like a farmer's kind of planted them and is going to be harvesting them, just like on Hay Day, which we might be playing a little bit of later on. But with a wood, you kind of want a bit more of a random kind of design, maybe a bit of variety of trees in there. And you can see here that what Bipolar has put together is kind of an eclectic little kind of mix. I wouldn't necessarily put together the oak style trees with the pine style trees, because then you're kind of going to have a bit of a mess. So so that's what I did in my town, and he's done a similar thing, which is to kind of create your forest out of maybe the pines, and then maybe elsewhere focus on more of the kind of the oak style, like we have here outside the kind of manor. Which is nice. And he's doing a little jig there, Martin. Oh, how beautiful there. And if we kind of come on down, we can see there's kind of another kind of little kind of woody section down here around the wreckage of the old sun sphere. And I quite like this. Do you remember the broken down graveyard? It was, I think it was part of the Halloween one. And it was just this kind of little graveyard that's been fallen massively into kind of disrepair. And I've seen a few people put that in the wood as a kind of something that kind of used to be taken care of, and now it's not. I mean, I think, and again, the other thing we've got here is the Lard Lad Donuts. That also is a building that's quite clearly wrecked, and that also works quite well as something which is kind of been grown over. Nature has reclaimed it with there you go. For those of you doing this week's GIFs, there's this week's show. It's become a bit disturbing, actually. People seem to have got a new hobby of Photoshop Addy. I've seen my face appear on about quite a few different things now. I don't particularly mind. I guess my question is nearly always why. So there we go. That was today's show. So I think this is a really, really good wood. Oh my god, there's even a luminous little pond in there. Crazy. The green just gets everywhere, and it won't wash out. So I think that's a really, really good example of a wood. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think this is a good little forest? I think this is a really good little design. As normal, I will normally ask you guys to give a bit of a rating. What do you think? Give it a mark out of 10. We're not rating the whole city. We're just looking at in particular, the forest here, stretching all the way from the Springfield mountain through the forest, past Fort Sensible, and then we've got other bits and bobs down the bottom. Why don't you give it a little bit of a ranking, and tell us what you think, and send some compliments or indeed some insults by Polar Bear's way. But remember, he is a bear, and he could go crazy at any time and then be surprisingly happy afterwards. Let's go and head over and look at another one, shall we? Addy shopped. No, please can we not start a Twitter trend on that? Otherwise I'll just find my face put on the front of like Stay Puft Marshmallow Mans and other sort of creatures. In fact, Wolfman earlier was trying to compare me to one of his friends. Please don't do that. I find the whole thing rather disturbing. It's like, this is not someone else's face. This is my face. Don't steal my face. Right. Now, someone I haven't shown for a little while, I want to return to, because there were two people that I used to show quite a lot when we first started these streams. Can you see the two there? Just making sure my fingers are in shot. Yes, they are. Two. And one of them was Mel Designer. And Mel Designer recently, I think Mel Designer must have done one of those kind of creative block things that artists tend to. Because if you remember, do you remember I showed Mel Designers quite a lot? In fact, before I even started doing the live streams, I used to show Mel Designers a lot. But Mel has basically now just uprooted the whole city. There's just nothing left. There's one just quite gorgeously decorated house, just one house, and it looks stunning. It's almost like, yes, I could do it if I want to, but everything else is kind of picked up. So Mel City is just deserted, completely deserted. But the other person I used to show was Magnificent, and I haven't showed Magnificent for quite a while, and her city is fantastic. And I was just kind of having a little nose through, because I was like, I'm sure there's a few of my kind of older people that used to hear, not older people, people I used to show that had a great forest, and Magnificent does. So we're going to go over there and we're going to have a little look back into her town. Magnificent is active over on the official EA forums. And although I thought I'd clicked on the town, apparently I haven't. Excellent. That's the second time I've done that today. What's wrong with my finger? It's no longer being registered as human. Looks like you got some good scores there. 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Ah, yes, we're talking about Whacking Day. I really hope we don't have Whacking Day again. Firstly, because it sucked, and secondly, because we don't actually have Whacking Day in England, so I don't really even know what it kind of is. So here we are back in Magnificent's Town. Do you remember Magnificent's Town? I think we looked here when we did the Buddhist temple and other little bits and bobs, but we haven't been here for a while. But over here we have a forest, and I like it. It's quite a small little one. It kind of stretches over this kind of back area here. When I say small, I mean fairly colossal, but it's a good way of kind of rounding off one of the sides of your town. Because I always think what's quite nice to do in your town is to have kind of sections, so that it doesn't just feel like building after building after building. And so you can make one end of your town quite industrial, and one end quite residential, and one end quite commercial, and one end. And I realised that by now we've got about 5 ends, and that's kind of logically impossible. But just go with the analogy because it works. But I think it always helps to kind of give variety to your town to put a wood in, especially when it kind of goes down kind of towards one section. Because if you come over and you have a look at this kind of wood type section, it's just completely different to coming over here and looking at this kind of commercial type section. And And so if you're sitting there and you're kind of, that kind of designer that's sitting, you're kind of going, you know what, my town just kind of all looks the same. Although I've got different buildings, it all kind of has that same feeling. Then there really is one way you can do it, by giving over kind of one side of your town to something a little bit more kind of agricultural like this. Let's go in for a closer look. So here we are. So we can go fishing in the town. Obviously, the emphasis here is on the pine-style trees and the little Christmas trees. And then we've got various kind of little things to go in, and that kind of go into this kind of little kind of area. We've got Cletus, and Cletus has got a little orchard going on. A nice use of the fruit trees there. The fruit trees, obviously, I think most of them are donuts. You guys maybe can correct me in the chat, but I think nearly all of them cost donuts. Maybe not the Valentine's Day, but they're a lot more kind of expensive. So just a little orchard like this works really, really kind of nicely. Then we've got a kind of I don't know. It looks like kind of Nelson's training yard, but the police car is there to make sure that that things are not getting too crazy. And then we've got some bunnies in the paddock, which is obviously where they should be. And we've got look at this path. A little path through the woods, because that's a cool idea, isn't it? If you make a big wood, let's get a path through it, and it doesn't have to be a path which is like paved over, because I think that would look weird, but actually just putting kind of a gap in the trees. And look, if we zoom in for a closer look, which I can't do because I'm actually as really close as I do, if I zoom out and then zoom in, we can zoom in for a closer look. And now we're in. And you can see we've got those kind of little bush things right in the middle there, which kind of helps to kind of show that this is a deliberate division. And this kind of path here from the road going up through the trees, and I think Nathan Rushton, you had something similar when you on your casino, works really, really nicely. And this kind of leads us off into the back where we can see the observatory and Lincoln's house with a lovely little kind of fence going around the edge, little kind of fire. It's like a little kind of lost house in the trees, whether it's kind of Hansel and Gretel style or whatever. And look how good that house looks next to the mountain. Like, you wouldn't necessarily think that as a combination would work, but it does. It looks like it's a little kind of mountain range house, high up on the hill, which looks great. It looks really, really lovely. And look at this again. The trees here that are kind of sprinkled at the bottom of the mountain look really, really nice as well, and it kind of has that kind of organic feeling of kind of starting flat and kind of slowly going up. It's all kind of an optical illusion through placement. Here's another completely ruined Springfield Falls with the addition of the Lenny Cliff. I never really understand the Lenny Cliff. I don't know if it's from an episode or whatever, but I'm always a bit like, why would I want a large picture of Lenny? But some people do, and there it is. And then the trees continue, and again, I quite like the patterns that are used here, and I realise it's probably not the most fascinating thing in the world to kind of go, look at the pattern of the trees. You see how the colours change? But I'm going to do it anyway, because it's my show, and if you don't like it, hey, then you can go. But if you're staying, and if you're still with me, look, I like the way that we've got on the left-hand side, we've got kind of the mediumly green trees, and then next to it we've got a little row of bright trees, and then next to that we've got a little row of dark trees, so it's kind of like they're random, but it's also like one tree has kind of sown its seed a little bit around the immediate vicinity, and you've got kind of little groupings of the same tree, so it's kind of random, but patterned, if that kind of makes sense. And yes, I've overthought it, and yes, I know no one cares, and yes, I know that we don't need to think about, well, how exactly would the seed of the tree spread around this forest? I realise that we've gone too far, but I still like it. So I'm going to call it. Now, I mentioned Camp Krusty, so here it is, Camp Krusty, with a different use of Willy's shack out here. Normally, people kind of put that back over in the school. Back over in the school. Oh, people are telling me that I should have said Carl, not Lenny. See, I was just mocking myself for being pedantic. I was just knocking myself for being pedantic about the tree placement. But I've got at least, 7 people telling me that it's Carl. So there we go. You guys can take that pedantic trophy and you can shine it up real nice and put it on your mantelpieces. Well done. The OCD has been passed to you. Camp Krusty looks brilliant in a wood. Because it's basically half a wood already. It's got a little bit of water by the front of it already. The kind of the green of the grass is nicely put together. There's a few kind of bushes in there. Thank you for the follow, and it looks great. And the few little reindeers. If you've got any reindeers left over from Christmas that you haven't put on the barbecue, then it's a good place to kind of put them in here. A little bit of a clearing there. And remember, because a forest doesn't have to just be tree building, tree building, paths like we said earlier, and clearings and little spaces for people to have kind of picnics and stuff. It's just really, really nice. It looks great. It makes you want to go for a little wander through it. Thank you, Jake, for the follow. And as we come on down, we can see other things like the haunted house and the mountain. And I mean, this is obviously quite a large area. The crashed alien landing looks brilliant there. Obviously it would be surrounded by blue water, but I think that looks fantastic. Just kind of tucked behind the trees slightly and hidden away. Haunted house looks great in there. We combined with the various graveyards. Really nice placement and a little thing that we're going to come back to in a design a little bit later. But you see how the trees are kind of dead right next to the graveyard? That's a cool little touch. Because that's the other little type of tree that we've actually got in the game as well. Sorry if I'm hiccuping. I had a large kebab before the stream, and well, I'm not sorry about having the kebab. I probably should have had it a little bit earlier. Therefore, when I'm speaking, I can kind of just enjoy the experience of speaking rather than going every so often. And finally, in this little part of the woods, we have a secret Halloween lair where the witch goes, and she also has a reindeer and a snake because all the best witches do. I think that's an awesome wood. What do you think? Would you like that? See what I did there? Would you? Should you? Could you? Would you? Get him! Yes, we got him. We got him. Because we are the kings of the tappings. What do you think of Magnificence Town? Why don't you give it a rating out of 10? Tell me what you think. Give me some feedback on it. Which is fantastic. Right, we're on 120, and we've only got about 10 minutes to go, so it doesn't look like we're going to be doing our gift card giveaway today, which is a shame, but I do hope that you will encourage your friends to come along next week. As I've got them, so I'm going to give them away at some point, but I do want to kind of use them. Like I said when I first said it, I'm open about it. I want to use them to help the stream to grow and to kind of spread it around, so it doesn't look like we're going to be doing that giveaway today. I'm still scaring Trent Blue. Sorry. Why is M a bad girl? Have I missed something? You haven't been watching TheAdiposeTV for a long time, the Iced Rooster. No way. I've barely just started making videos and streams. I think I started in July 2012. So I think I'm about year and a half old in terms of making videos and stuff. Let's head over to my friend and your friend Owen457 and have a look at his forest. Some fantastic scores here for Magnificent. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 19 out of nothing from Skyfall. We've got 10 out of 10, no doubt, says someone else. We've got the 3D could be a bit better, says Mega Dark Rider. Miniature says M says that she likes the wood. Cool. So you guys seem to quite like it. Someone just asked me if I've been playing Titanfall. Yes, I've been playing it most of today and most of yesterday. Yes, I think it's really good. I have been trying to improve my little skill set on it. Now, Owen's Town appears to not want to load, so we can just enjoy the loading screen. We suddenly went down to 80 people in the stream. I was a bit worried there for a second that I kind of said, the giveaway's not today, and everyone went, screw this then. I'm leaving. If there's not going to be any donuts, what's the point? Why am I even here? You made me sign up for nothing. But it's just gone back up to 120. No, and now I've said that, it's actually gone back down to 89, so I should probably stop talking because actually I've just kind of recreated what happened, and so on. I'm kind of stalling because Owen's Town isn't loading. Oh, there we go. We're in. We are in, and welcome to the town of Owen. Now, Owen has been very busy on this particular design. I'm assuming Owen is a boy. Apologies if I'm wrong. Maybe I should just kind of refer to everyone as some kind of like sexually nutrient. Sexually nutrient. No, don't even think about it. Sexually neutral, or some kind of crossover. to save kind of problems with kind of gender descriptions, or maybe describing them as it. Okay, let's do that. That's probably easier. So Owen. It has been designing here, and we've got a very, very busy design. There's loads and loads of trees here, and I think possibly it needs just a little bit of kind of thinning out, but the ideas are in here are kind of really, really kind of cool. We've got KC of the who makes loads of other Simpsons videos is watching our stream. They just can't remember their Twitch login. But hello, KC, and welcome. I hope you're having a good time. Now this is Owen's little wood here, and we've kind of shoved everything in. But there's a few bits I want to point out that I thought were really, really cool. The first one is this: the Tower of Trash. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether we're going through a 3D effect here, or whether it's just supposed to be a big pile, but it kind of looks to me like a kind of trash mountain with a little hail ants line on the top, flag on the top, which I thought was which I think is really, really cool. It is cool, isn't it? It just looks like, and you do get them in woods, sadly, from time to time. People kind of dumping cars and sofas and a huge pile of orange washing machines. Because I don't know about you, but who doesn't have an orange washing machine? It's classy, and and it looks really great. I think this is my favourite bit. There's just this big mound of kind of trash, just wandering through the wood and just coming across this just massive industrial bit of wastage. It looks really good, and it's a nice way again of kind of bringing variety into that kind of wooded area. It doesn't all have to be buildings. You can also kind of use the decorations nicely. Some nice little touches in there. There's a little radiation spillage kind of there-ish. If you look, there's a kind of green spillage. It's kind of coming out at the end, like one of the kind of washing machines has leaked, and a few other little bits and bobs like that. But I really like that bit. I think it's a nice little touch. We've got a kind of little Aztec memorial. We kind of put together the that new little face thing from the friendship thing. Oh my god, the friendship thing. God, the friendship thing. Can I haven't had a rant for a while. Let's have a little rant for a while. I think we need to have a sit out. Just make yourself a little bit comfortable and maybe kind of put your kind of thinking face on. If you're not sure how to do your thinking face, you need to take your hand like this, and you need to close off all of your fingers except your forefinger. This, so just close those three fingers like that. Okay, you're doing that. So it's kind of like a little gun, just one that kind of sucks. And then you need to turn it sideways, so you kind of made a backwards L with your hand, and then slowly place that under your chin. And you instantly look thoughtful. I'll run through that again. So hand out, fingers in, turn to the sideways, like that, thoughtful. And because seriously, why would I want to visit all of my friends every single day and tap on their stuff to gain minuscule amounts of points all the time, and then tomorrow do exactly the same thing again, and then tomorrow do exactly the same thing again, tomorrow do exactly the same thing again, and just tap and go through and through. Now, it's one thing to kind of pop through and do it from time to time on a kind of small amount, like catching snakes. It kind of keeps like the mind kind of active. It's like, oh, catch a snake, or I'll hunt for a present. Oh, there's a present. Oh, I found a present. Or like I don't know, kind of hunting things, or maybe delivering them a present is quite cool as well. It's like, oh, there's a present. Have a present. I thank you for being my friend. Here's a gift. There's something you're kind of doing something, but the friends thing, you're just loading it up and just going tap and tap and tap, next, tap and tap and tap, next, tap and tap and tap, and eventually you get an elephant. Where's the connection with that? Where is the connection with that? Because it's like, you give loads of presents and then you get a Christmas tree. Ah, yeah. You give loads of presents and then you get a big tower for Santa. Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, no, fair point. And then you whack a snake, and so you get a snake thing. But you tap on all your friends and get an elephant. Very strange. Very strange, and it's just lots and lots of tapping. I'm not a fan of the friends thing. I just want a bit more variety. You know what? And hopefully this I want to say South Park, but it's not South Park. This new family game that's kind of coming out, which is going to be kind of a town-based thing. I hope it kind of pushes this Tapped Out to just be a little bit more creative in what you're doing, because I don't think, for me personally, I mean, you guys can disagree with me and you can tell me that I'm being wrong, that I'm being unfair, but I think I would like to see a little more variety in kind of what we have to do and what we can kind of do with it. Like, I don't think they can just carry on doing more of the same and more just tapping, because it just gets a bit tapped out, which is a kind of phrase I've kind of used before here, but I think it's kind of true. Anyway, let's come down here. Toward the circle of death. On a happier note, this is a random bit of the city where Owen seems to have kind of gone. You know what this wood really needs is some skeletons hanging from some trees with some nearby dead trees to celebrate the murder. It's scary. It says something about your psychology, but it actually looks rather good. So why not? So if you too want to celebrate American history, you can hang some skeletons from trees and put it in your wood. It does look quite cool, though. It does look quite cool. I probably would have kind of Halloweened it up a little bit more, so it kind of looks more like a kind of Halloween celebration rather than some sort of historical incident that we'd rather not talk about. But the idea is pretty cool. The idea is pretty cool. But that's another little wood. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I got distracted, wasn't I? Because I was ranting about this kind of friendship thing, and yeah, so I think this is quite a cool little idea, having kind of randomly in the wood this kind of little Aztec thing, because it isn't just he's gone for one random decoration, he's actually going to put a little wall around it, put a few things together, even a little kind of pavement in there. I think it works nicely, actually. I think it's a good creative use of little decorations, kind of going in there and putting it all together. Right, one more. I know we've gone over 10 o'clock, but I do want to show one more. I had a bunch more. In fact, we maybe should need to carry on with... I've got about 5 more I wanted to show, but we're out of time, so I guess technically I should probably carry on forests and woods into next week. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Should we carry on foresting around next time? What do you think? Or should we go on and do something new? We can always come back to it in the future, but I have got other people I want to show. Let me just show one more before I go, very, very quickly, which is the quite unpronounceable 99, who is actually a bad example. That's a name, not a sentence, is a bad example over on the Simpsons Tapped Out forums, which is a great resource for all things kind of decorative. One of their, I think it's, excuse me if I used the wrong term, moderators, I think, rather than administrators, is a bad example. And they were nice. They've been very nice to me on the forum and has helped to kind of get me kind of installed on there and as well. But this is a bad example who also had a pretty nice, a nice little forest design down here as well, which is very, very cool, because Camp Krusty is just so cool. I mean, you've got to... How can you have Camp Krusty and not go kind of forest crazy with it? It just looks brilliant. Surrounded by trees, it's just so kind of back to nature in its kind of design that it really doesn't take much. Just a bit of water around it, a few little trees around it, a small devil effigy of Krusty outside, and Bart doing a little rain dance, and, ta-da! You've got yourself a really nice little... kind of design without too much work in it, and it looks great. Now, a bad example has done a good example here of how you can really take Cletus's farm further. Now, we've never bothered doing a tapped out stream on a design on Cletus's farm, because there doesn't seem to be that much you can do with it. However, then you look at this and realise you can actually give Cletus the equivalent of a small kind of farm. I think whoever has put this together has been playing a lot of Farmyard Simulator 2014 and has just kind of gone, what can we put in here? And we've got this massive kind of vegetable patch, we've got this big orchard over here, we've got a flower garden, and I know different bits are probably supposed to be part of different designs. Then we've got this big kind of reindeer paddock with them eating pumpkins. I love the way they're kind of dipping their heads into the pumpkins and then kind of munching away. Nice little touch. A load of random snake rocks with a gate, but the gate's a nice touch again. It's like, keep out, these snakes are dangerous, type thing. And of course the car, which is completely wrecked after being very badly driven by Cletus. But there's just 2 examples there, really nice things that you can do with really kind of do with their town. All right. So, I think what we'll do is we'll do something else next week, but we'll return to forests and woods in the future, because there's definitely more designs. And if you've been inspired by tonight, put something together. Go do something Woody, and or think, what would Woody do, and put something together. You can add something to the original threads that I've put over on tappedout.co.uk and Tapped Out forums and the official EA forums. Add something there, and we'll carry on with this in the future. But we'll do something else next week. But we shall return to this topic. I hope you found it interesting, informative, possibly even funny, maybe at some points. Commiserations if you didn't get your town featured, but we will be looking at something very wolfy next time. I'm going to take a little 5-minute break, and then I will be back with Mrs. Pose in about 5 minutes, and we will be doing some heyday. So if you really want to go farmyard crazy, then stick around, because we will be back to talk about harvesting our wheat and bits and bobs like that. I'm going to play another advert. If you're still here at the end of that advert, then I'll give you a bit of bonus added gold for sticking around, and if you're still here in 5 minutes, then you get to hear me and Clary talking about harvesting goat fur and things. Thank you so much for coming. You have been it's lovely that you choose to spend your Saturday evenings with me, and I really do appreciate it. You have been fantastic, and you know what? So was I.